start putting them, right. So the first one that we're putting up, which is moved by Councillor Coker and seconded by Councillor Scandra, I think I got that right way around, number 80. So we do...
Can you highlight which one we're voting on? Yeah. Sorry. I thought
everyone decided we didn't need debate, but if you want to have debate, we'll have some debate.
Just very brief.
We'll have some brief debate.
I continue to be really concerned about the state of our creaking and leaking water infrastructure. And while I know that we've been told that the measurements aren't particularly useful, a way of measuring, we are measuring the same way that we did 6 years ago when our leakage rate was at 18%. It's now at 26, 27%. And we continue to kick the can down the road. So the previous council in their long-term plan was relying on us to keep money on budget to get on with fixing our water supply and doing our mains and sub-mains renewals. Those are not going to improve under current funding levels in the next 3 years. And they're currently sitting around 30% of the network is in really poor condition, level 4, level 5. It's been incredibly difficult to get all of the information about that over the last year or so to try and inform the long-term plan process. And we know that the longer we leave these things, the more OPEX we spend on reactive maintenance and all of those kind of things. It's been disappointing that we haven't been able to have a full debate on this today because of the materiality and the information we've had through from the Audit Office. But it is crucial that we stop leaving it to future councils and that we take responsibility for our core council infrastructure, which is our water supply, and that we do make sure that we renew pipes and not just chase leaks. So looking forward to putting a proper option to the community in the annual plan on bringing forward funding to actually get rid of that backlog of renewals, which are currently not even going to be done within 10 years. So I'd like to get people to vote for that and vote for the natural waterway stuff too. It's crucial. We've got not just a climate crisis, but a biodiversity one too, and our waterways are crucial for that.
Okay. Yep. Councillor Fields.
Kia ora. So with the Port Hills and Littleton Harbour erosion and sediment amendment today, I've decided to take a pragmatic approach there due to the size of what we were asking for in the amendment. But I really want to make it incredibly clear that I was very disappointed the way that this was taken out of the budget, and we absolutely need to have this work done as part of, as it was originally spec'd out, as part of our commitment to whakaora healthy harbour and just as part of our treaty partnership obligations in general. And I think that we really need to think seriously about how we're going to approach this. But for now, I'll take the pragmatic approach and go with the staff recommendation.
Councillor Coker.
This area of council's responsibility is an important one. I agree with everything that Councillor Templeton and Fields have said. These amendments are put forward because the councillors who put them forward actually really care about the environment, and they care about our waterways, they care about them being healthy, they care about sediment not going into them. We want to see the swimmable rivers in our own city, actually, is a lot of the point of this, really, isn't it? So please be behind this. I'm sure we can work through the budget implications of these things. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? It'll just get worse and worse, and do we want that as a legacy?
Okay, Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to support the 500,000 for the water leak stuff. I think that makes sense in this environment. I think we've talked about, and council was unanimous in the view that we needed to have a deliverable capital budget. And if we can get a bit more information to find that, I think that makes perfect sense. I look at the way we've managed Three Waters, and I continue to, I guess, rebut the notion that somehow our water infrastructure is crap. I don't think it is, and I don't think people should believe the fact that it is. We're very fortunate in Christchurch to have a decent network, Yeah, I'm annoyed with the chlorination, but I think actually on the whole, everyone should be very proud of the water infrastructure we have, and we're moving that quite well. The team are really onto it, and again, I've just expressed my view. I know it's not a council view, but actually, I'm not even that keen on setting up an external water entity. I think actually we have a really good team in house that we can be very proud of and that do a great job. So I'd be keen to obviously support that today, noting that it's 500,000, but noting that it's capital and it moves the rate dial from 9.88 to 9.89, and I can live with that today.
Thank you. Councillor Peters? Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I'm with Councillor McDonald on that. The design as CapEx is wisdom, and coming back at the annual plan to try and cement in some further works is wise. It has been a shame to see the materiality come into play today to kick some of these down the road for next year. But hey, that's the fact of life. We've got to try and land this plan. Also, I'm happy to support the plan for the Lower Heathcote guidance plan, and I think reconsidering an annual plan is actually quite wise. Again, we're kicking the can, but at least it's coming back into an annual plan so that we can then plan the way forward with more certainty. So hopefully we can all agree around here.
Councillor Scandrett?
Yeah, thank you. And we have an outstanding Three Waters team, but I think what's being proposed by Councillor Templeton, that planning, that 500k can only assist in and improve in what we're already doing. So totally support that. As for the guidance plan for the Apawaho Heathcote River, I mean, without these plans and without strategy, we're going to go round in circles. And we are now in a moment of time, and as I mentioned before, the 10 years from the approval of the Mid-Heathcote Master Plan to now, our knowledge, or not ours, not mine, but those those experts have come, realisations are changed so much. So we've got to get onto it. And I hate to say it, but if this, we can only kick so much financially. We can kick whatever we want down the road. That's our choice. But if we kick everything down the road to get this across the line, our ratepayers are going to be kicked in the teeth in a couple of years by our decisions.
All right. Oh, Pauline?
Just really quickly, look, the Apawaho River Lower Heathcote is a really good project. That any environmental projects, in my view, are really worth supporting because we get so many volunteers helping us and enabling us to deliver those, and we get actually 12-to-1 benefit for our money. So for me, that's really good investment. And the submitters have come in and told us that water quality and the waterways are really, really important to them. And just quickly, when we talk about the Three Waters and another entity perhaps, or what are we doing going forward, look, it's not going to change anything. We still need to work on our infrastructure, and someone has to pay for it, and it will be us. So we may as well keep on doing what we're doing, and I'm with Councillor McDonald. I want to get the chlorine out. We all want to get the chlorine out. And to keep on improving our waterways and reducing our leakages is one of the steps we have to take to do that. So I do fully support the 500,000 going into that in year one. So let's get cracking. Let's keep going on it. Thank you.
Okie doke. So will Councillor Johansson?
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to speak in support of the funding for the Lower Apawaho Heathcote Guidance Plan. When Council adopted that plan, it asked the units to look at what could be done within existing budgets within the next 12 months. There were a number of actions that were to be considered, but one of the key things that came back was there weren't a lot of existing programs along that stretch of the river. And in fact, any new development needed CapEx funding in the LTP. So we're now at the LTP. This plan was raised in 2015 and it took 5 years to get it in place. It's very good. It's got specific projects that need to be done but don't have the funding attached. So I can see no issue why we shouldn't be putting funding in the long-term plan now to get work continuing on the recommendations that were developed with a collaborative community partnership by a local working group. As other people have said, there's been a huge renewed interest in the value of our waterways and our urban rivers. There's an amazing amount of volunteer effort along with some council rangers who are doing incredible stuff on very small budgets to try and make a difference. But fundamentally, the bigger scale stuff, if we want to improve one of the worst urban rivers in New Zealand, then we actually need to put some money on budget. And $5 million over the life of the LTP is not a significant sum, but it will make a significant contribution to developing this planning and saying to the community that when we develop a plan, we're actually going to do the actions we say we're going to do, rather than just having it languish on a shelf somewhere. So I hope that our councillors support this. I hope that you support the other issues around the natural waterways as well, and the sediment and erosion control, which I am disappointed on that one, but I do accept the need for pragmatism, as has been said. Finally, I just want to come back to the issue of the water supply. This is the great irony of what's happening with the Three Waters, is that we're being penalised and having to spend an extraordinary amount of money on putting chlorine into our water, $100 million over the life of our LTP to chlorinate, permanent chlorination in our water, that in my view would be far better spent on actually fixing the water leaks that we have, on reducing the zones to be smaller, more resilient, and to dealing with some of the things that do make a significant difference to water quality in our urban waterways in our city. So I hope you'll support all of these. I think they're very sensible amendments that are fair. They respond to community submissions, and they're things that have been asked for a long time that would be a shame to lose at this stage.
Okay, thank you. Right. We'll fire this one out. Now we'll do it with hands again, shall we, like we did last time? Is that the easiest thing to do? Knowing full well